Hello. Hello, everyone. Hello, sensitive beings. Hello, humans. Hello, light workers. Hello, empaths. Hello, people who are on a healing journey. How are you today? Thank you for allowing me, to share those moments with you. I'm just gonna wait for whoever wants to join today's live to jump on the call. And in the meantime, we can just ground our energy. And so we're going to breathe on a count to 5. And so we can breathe while counting from 1 to 5. We breathe in, and then counting 1 to 5, we breathe out. So we breathe in, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And we breathe out, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And as we take our breath, we become more aware of our bodies. And the moment we are aware of our bodies, grounding is happening. Now, just as an introduction, I want to invite everyone to our exciting next healing event. The registration is on my website. It's on the 17th of November, and the topic will be surrendering to love. And we will be exploring the entry point into love as one of the most important milestones of our journey. For the moment when we surrender to love, so much what we used to busy ourselves with prior to that moment falls away, and we can find healing, freedom, and liberation unlike ever before. When love becomes the only option, all distractions dissolve. And so let's move on to today's topic, which is resolving shame, transforming shame. Now, shame is something I am still resolving within my own life, if I am to be totally transparent with you, because during my conditioning process, during my upbringing, there was ridiculous amount of shame. And through those moments of resolving shame within me, I'm constantly being reminded of the message shame really has for us. Because the impulse when we feel shame is to hide, is to run away from, is to look away from that which we are feeling within ourselves. But the invitation of shame is actually to simply become radically honest about that which we are feeling and how hurt and traumatized we have actually felt by the actions of others. Because perhaps you have heard this term before, victim shaming. What is victim shaming? Victim shaming is the tendency to blame the vulnerability of victimization. And so when we are victimized, when we are traumatized to any degree, when we undergo any degree of abuse, neglect, abandonment, manipulation, or trauma, the tendency of either those who hurt us or those who are a witness to what has happened to us is to pull away and look away and to project blame onto the victim as a way of keeping their distance from that vulnerability. Because what if I didn't keep my distance? Because then I would feel that that same thing could happen to me. And this is how people avoid the potential of being victimized themselves, which actually doesn't work. It simply puts victims through more pain. And in the aftermath of this process, we feel shame. And we internalize the process of blame and victimization, and we turn it onto ourselves. And then we start thinking, oh well, what must have I done in order to deserve to be treated in such a way? What must have I done? I must have deserved what has happened to me, because I am feeling so much shame in the aftermath of my trauma. And what the invitation of shame is to simply say the truth about what has happened to us. And it can bring us to a radically vulnerable space where we can, after a lifetime of feeling as if we needed to hold our breath and hold our bodies in contraction, suddenly we can relax and breathe out, but not before we become radically honest and truthful about what has happened to us, about the deepest, darkest moments of our lives. And so, only you can know what this was for you, but you can say, yes, I was abused. Yes, I was neglected. Yes, I was traumatized. Yes, I was abandoned. We are not blaming anyone. We are simply saying the truth about the situation. Now, if you want to take it even a step further to resolve shame, you can even give it a name. And you can say, this person. And you can just simply say this to yourself. This doesn't have to be a conversation with anyone else. It can be. It doesn't have to be. You can say, this person with this name did this to me. This person with this name abused me, neglected me, abandoned me, made me feel less than, mistreated me, assaulted me. This is what happened. This is the truth. And this is the victim within me finally reclaiming its voice. You don't have to be afraid that speaking that truth is somehow going to hurt anyone, especially yourself. For when you say the truth about what happened, you will be liberated and shame will dissolve. And so what shame is initiation into is radical honesty about what truly happened. It is not blaming anyone. It is releasing yourself from the cycle of victim shaming. Because no victim is to be blamed for anything that has ever happened to them. And shame is here to remind you of all the places within you where you still blame yourself that was never truly yours to own. That was never truly yours to identify with and look inside of yourself as a wound to fester. Shame is here to tell you, please say the goddamn truth about what happened. And until you do, the shame will stay. And it will not dissolve. And so the shame is here as an agent of consciousness to make you more honest and to make you more authentic, where you don't have to be smarter than your pain. You don't have to be smarter than your inner child. You just have to be more honest and more authentic than those who have hurt you. Because an act of abuse, neglect, or abandonment is an act of radical inauthenticity. Because it's an act of disowning yourself and throwing parts of yourself into other people's bodies. That is what actual trauma is. Trauma is the sensation of carrying the disowned parts of other people within ourselves. And the only reason why it was locked within us is a lack of authenticity within those who don't know how to hurt without actually hurting others. And we end the cycle by saying, this is what happened to me. And when you can do it in front of other people, sometimes that can be even a little bit of an extra release for their nervous system, because your nervous system is being rewired into a state where it's safe for you to speak your truth vulnerably in front of others. Now, of course, if you are in an environment where other people are incapable of receiving your truth and receiving your honesty without projecting onto you or attacking you or targeting you in any way, please feel free to leave and that share that honesty within yourself with yourself, where you become your own witness to the heroic journey of healing and the reclaiming of your own power. You don't have to carry it within you, even though other people have insisted for you to do so. You don't have to consent to that game anymore. You can simply be radically truthful about what happened. And the moment you share the honest truth, everything within you is released and transmuted on contact. And so, yes, shame can make us feel like we want to hide. Shame can make us feel like we want to run away. But what if the one we are hiding from the most often is ourselves? And what if being radically honest with ourselves is the journey of healing shame? And what if the coming out of hiding is the coming out of hiding from ourselves? Where we don't have to hide the truth of what truly happened. And sometimes we are so petrified of acknowledging the gravity of pain within us because we are afraid that if we share the deepest truth with ourselves, it is going to last forever. But what if that was not the case at all? What if the more honest you become with yourself, the easier and faster the healing will be? And when you can be radically authentic and honest with yourself, your healing will be instantaneous. When you run away from the authenticity, your shame is trying to initiate and awaken within you. There will be a pressure that will keep on building up until the pain becomes so unbearable that you have no other choice but to say the truth of reality and to face it directly. Most people don't know how to be honest with themselves. But what if you could be different? What if you could be the change this world is waiting for? And what if we could take this even deeper, looking at the world? And what if we could simply say, those who blame are simply those who are hiding from themselves. Those who project are simply those who are hiding from themselves. Those who wage war and hurt innocent beings are those who are hiding from themselves. And then we realize that we live in a world that is running away from itself, and that we no longer have to wonder why the world is such a mess, because everyone is on the run. And what are we really on the run from? And we spoke about authenticity and honesty and about the depth of pain within us that we are afraid to acknowledge, and that's certainly a part of it. But what if the thing that most people are actually running away from is their awakened consciousness? And what if the process of awakening is simply the journey of exhausting the momentum of running away from the awakening and consciousness that you are? What if spiritual awakening is just the end of trying to run away, push away, or chase away the awakening that is already within you, representing the light of your highest value, highest integrity, highest conscience, and highest morality? What if the race could finally end? was nothing else to run away from, but to simply become engulfed by the awakened glory of light that you are. And so we started with resolving shame, and we move into reuniting with the glory of your awakened consciousness, with the glory of your awakened light. And so can you actually see how the journey of healing shame prepares us, prepares us to embody our highest awakened consciousness. And each time we face our shame, the deeper our awakening goes. Each time we face anything within us really directly, the more our awakening deepens. And so if you'd like, you can share with me in the chat whatever you are healing or whatever is coming up for you as a result of this transmission of energy. What is it bringing up within you? And even if you don't want to share it within the chat, we can simply explore an invitation to be with ourselves right now, just as we are, as we simply breathe together the glory of awakening that we are. Cease says self-rejection and healing. Yes. Self-rejection is what we oftentimes use as a coping mechanism to stay away from the deepest pain within us. And we can even subconsciously believe that if I reject myself first, it's going to hurt less when other people do it to me. And because we carry wounds of shame and rejection within ourselves, the self-rejection then mirrors the very rejection we have experienced and internalized from others. And we spiral in this pattern of treating ourselves the way other people have mistreated us. And unfortunately, this is a way through which we perpetuate trauma and suffering onto ourselves. But we don't have to do that anymore, because we can acknowledge, I don't deserve to be rejected. It is simply me to authentically face the wounds of rejection within me. I don't deserve to be rejected. I don't deserve to be shamed. I don't deserve to be abandoned. I don't deserve to be neglected. That is the voice of sanity within us. I don't deserve any of those things that have happened to me. And so it's almost like there are two voices within the human being. There's the voice of sanity, and then there is the voice of insanity. And the voice of insanity is the voice of the ego. The ego is always insane, right? It's not wrong to have an ego, but when you have an overstimulated nervous system, the ego is going to be a little bit insane. And when we listen to the voice of insanity, we oftentimes conclude that we have deserved what has happened to us. But the voice of sanity always says, you never deserved any of it. In other words, nothing traumatic, nothing that has ever affected you negatively was ever justified. The light within you is always the reason for everything positive within your life. And you are equally never the reason for anything negative happening to you. That's never the case. And so we can all say this as a healing mantra with a hand on our heart. And simply say, what if I never deserved anything negative that has ever happened to me? What if I was never to be blamed for anything at all? Especially not for the pain other people have caused. And what if the only redemption was an radical moment of self-forgiveness when I say the authentic, whole truth about what has happened to me. I didn't deserve to be in pain. I didn't deserve to be rejected. For what all of us deserve is to be celebrated for the light that we shine, and for the love that we shine. Both. And so I am healed. What if we are always the reason for why we deserve to be celebrated, but we are never the reason for anything negative within us? And what if thinking of ourselves as a reason for anything within us, anything negative within us, is delusional? What if that's the delusion of the ego? Thinking we are a reason for something negative. What if that is the illness plaguing humanity called self-blame and self-punishment? But what if it could be healed through remembering that there are infinite and endless reasons to celebrate ourselves, and never any reason to criticize or shame ourselves, even when we feel like we have done something wrong or bad, or when we feel like we have done something that was out of integrity. Because we only act out of integrity when we are suffering from low self-esteem. Someone who has healthy, healed self-esteem doesn't really act out of integrity, because there is nothing to disown. Because acting out of integrity is an act of disowning yourself. And so what if, in the aftermath of doing something out of integrity, you still deserved celebration as a form of raising your self-esteem, so to make sure that it will not repeat again? What if self-punishment actually didn't work? What if you deserve more love and celebration in the aftermath of messing up, which is going to help you to step into a deeper vibrational alignment with your own consciousness that will make sure then that karmic cycle will not be repeated in your life. What if that was the radical invitation? What if that was the dharma of awakening? And what if that was the purpose of why we act out of integrity? Just to remind ourselves that we need more celebration and more love, and not less. This is the teaching of Matt Kahn, who is an incredible spiritual teacher. He always teaches, we deserve more love, not less. What does that mean? In the aftermath of anything, there is never any space for pain or punishment. There's always more space for compassion and the acknowledgement of our own light, because the light is incapable of acting out or acting out of integrity. And by loving ourselves and celebrating ourselves, we are bringing more of that light forward, creating a corrective experience for ourselves and for those around us. We always deserve to be loved and celebrated, no matter what. Never to be blamed for anything, and always to be held and supported in every breath. I want to again extend an invitation. Please join me on the 17th of November for a very exciting healing event, Surrendering to Love. It's going to be super mega duper epic. Registration by donation, as always. No one turned away for a lack of funds. You can find the details on my website. And I am super mega duper ultra excited to see you there as we get the opportunity to gather in the presence of radical healing, where transmutation occurs without trying to push ourselves around or punish ourselves for anything, but simply handing ourselves over to the grace of divinity. That is what my healing events are all about. And you are invited. And you didn't even have to pay if you don't want to. There's a donation option. You can fill out 0. Totally fine. That's how we roll. Anyway, I'll hopefully see you on the 17th. I hope I got the date right. After my awakening process, sometimes I have a little bit of a difficult time with dates. I very often have no idea what day of the week it is. Anyway, I'll see you all at the event. Thank you so much for sharing this space of healing and exploring the shame with me. Thank you so much for caring about your healing journey. And I'll see you some other time. From my heart to yours, all my love to you. Namaste.